Well, hey, hi everybody.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Linda.
Hey Steve.
Um, Here we are, Saturday at 2, 1, and 12, and 10, and 11. All right, depending on what time zone you're in. Okay,
Here we are.
so we have a very special show today, and
We do.
and everybody, this is Linda. She's the founder of Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri,
Hello
and
everyone.
we want to go right into this. I had to turn you up just a little bit, Linda, because I may have turned you down on my end, but
Ah.
so we have a very special show. We've been having a question that's been asked us often, and well, probably some other rescues too, maybe. Um, so she wants to answer the question on the show. So the question obviously is, and I'm going to ask you right now, why do you take reactive dogs into rescue?
Well, it's not a straight answer, Steve, but the biggest reason is because I feel that they deserve a chance. So, the first thing we do is we find out the situation if the dog bit someone. The first thing we do, we go in and we find out, what happened. Why did the dog bite? And 99% of the time it's because the dog was in a very uncomfortable situation. Does a dog deserve to lose his life for that? Absolutely not. And that's why we take them, um, because we feel that they deserve that second chance.
And on a behavior standpoint, we'll have Roman come up and talk to us here and give his view on it here in a few minutes. But
Mhm.
um, uh, dogs, on a behavior standpoint, dogs don't do anything without a reason.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and but see, a lot of shelters and stuff that just don't have that breed specific experience.
That's right.
Okay,
Mhm.
and so if a Great Pyrenees simply is doing his job, he could actually be deemed dangerous.
Mhm.
Okay, and and I think I can speak for Linda here a little bit. I never want to do that, but um,
Careful, Steve.
the experienced people probably should be making the decision of the dog's future. Okay,
Absolutely. Yes.
and because we don't expect shelters to be breed specific with a guardian breed of all
Mhm.
breeds, and they can miss this often. Okay,
Mhm.
and well they can be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not going to blame a dog that was put in a bad situation that reacted and someone missed that.
That is correct.
Does that dog deserve to be put down for that? Heck no.
Nope.
Um, and I won't. I'll go to bat for that dog. I will go to the ends of the earth for that dog,
Yeah.
to
And
save him.
speaking of going to end of the earth for a dog, I believe you did that once, didn't you?
Yes.
All right. Um, there's going to be some folks out there that remember a dog named Sonny. Okay. Um, and he was going to die.
Mhm.
So, but we put together a little video, and and then you're going to get to see Sonny firsthand. Okay. Um, so in the meantime, what I want to and Roman's down here. He's down there in the green room. He's going to help us out here. Okay. And because he is a behaviorist,
Yes.
he's he's not a trainer. He doesn't teach tricks. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, he uh, he identifies the root of the behavior and and corrects and makes adjustments there, and then see what the behavior is like after we deal with the root. Okay, so um, what we're going to do is we're going to do Sunny real quick. Now, Sunny was pre-recorded. Okay,
Yes. Mhm.
so but if you have any questions, Linda knows the folks well enough and Sonny well enough that if you have any questions on this, she can absolutely answer them. So let's just get going with Sunny, and then let's see what we got going on there. Then, so here we go. All right, buddy. Okay, here we got our superstar of the day, and that's what this show is based around, and that's Linda Boy Son with. All right, hi everybody. Okay, here we got our superstar of the day, and that's what this show's based around, and that's Linda's boy Sonny. Well, wait a minute, I think that's Jeff Linden and Sherry's boy Sonny. Hi everybody. Hi Jeff. How you doing today?
Doing good, thanks.
Hi, Jeff.
Wow, that sure does not resemble the dog that was described to me.
No, he's not very vicious at all.
He looks kind of the opposite. It looks a little spoiled to me.
This boy will follow me anywhere I go.
Wow. And ain't that something, because I'll tell you, I heard horror stories about him. And, but I'll tell you, one of my favorite pictures that was sent to me was this one where he's got his, where he's up on the gate. Is he like waiting for you guys to come home and he took a selfie, or is somebody else holding the camera?
Somebody else was holding the camera. He saw us coming.
Okay. I just love that picture.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So can you tell us a little bit of the experiences that you've had with him for everybody? Because you got to remember, our show is about why do we take reactive dogs? Okay. So why did we take this dog that was labeled dangerous?
Because Linda wouldn't take no for an answer.
Okay. All right. Show's over. Question's been answered. We get it.
He came from a shelter in Pocahontas, Arkansas, Steve. Mm-hmm. He was surrendered to the shelter for biting the owner. So he was a dog that I was contacted about because no one else would take him. And there was just something about Sonny that, you're right. I couldn't forget about him. I couldn't let him be there, and I needed someone to help me with him. And that's when I contacted Shari and Jeff, who agreed to foster him.
Did I hear right that the shelter didn't want you to have him, or somebody didn't want a rescue to even take him?
Yeah. So he was deemed dangerous by the shelter and by the veterinarian that he went to, because we had to have a health certificate on him to transport. Mm-hmm. And they knew that he was reactive, and they partially sedated Sonny, and then they tried to put him in a kennel, and they put him in a really bad position, and he bit the veterinarian. And the veterinarian called me and wanted to euthanize him.
Apparently you said no.
Yeah, I said a lot more than no. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to sign a waiver on him that he was deemed a dangerous dog. I wouldn't sign the waiver. He's not a dangerous dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
And because they could have been wrong?
Yes. Yes, I felt all along that they were wrong, and he was misread, and he deserved a chance. And I was going to give him that chance no matter what it cost.
Right. Because we know that shelters do not have the same experience with this breed that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you and me, and over the years, if there's something wrong with the dog, why don't you let somebody with experience decide what his fate is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so, and look there's our dangerous dog.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
How long have you had him now, Sherry and Jeff?
It's been about a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has he
There's-
ever seemed dangerous to you? Have you ever felt threatened by him?
No.
When we
So
first got 'em,
the
we
bottom
took-
line is they were wrong.
when we first got them, we took a really cautious approach to them and handling them. And whenever I'd be in with them, every time I would kind of push the limits and see how he would react. And never once did he ever show me any hostile reactions. Or there's a few times, he was questionable about it. He wanted to know what I was doing,
Mhm.
but he always seemed comfortable. He let me touch him in whatever way I wanted to.
Hmm.
Um,
So I wonder what made him decide to bite that vet. I've got a couple ideas, but I wasn't there. But as a trainer, I can pretty much tell you he did it out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
very
He was put in a situation, Steve, that first off, he was partially sedated. And then he was trying to be shoved into a kennel in the back of a car.
Right.
What did you really expect to happen there?
Yeah.
It's certainly not Sonny's fault.
And we know that this breed has a different, slower, if you may, metabolism than most.
Yes.
And the vets that I deal with out here in Ohio, they don't partially sedate a Great Pyrenees.
No, it was definitely a mistake on their part.
Yeah, and the vet, she healed. They healed up, but that stayed with him, and he still has to tell everybody, yeah, I bit somebody, because my dad says I have to tell you. So please don't approach me improperly.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So
That's right.
what a handsome boy you got there.
he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I tell you, he's all about you, isn't he, Jeff?
Like I said, wherever I go out in the yard, he'll follow right behind me. He's right with me all the time.
It doesn't matter what else is going on anywhere in the yard. He is all eyes on Jeff.
Wow. Well, that's actually a good thing, because he seems to be Jeff's dog, and
he definitely is Jeff's dog.
He picked Jeff for sure.
Shari was telling me earlier today that when she went to pick up Sonny, he was, he's such a big boy. He had his paws up on that kennel, and her son-in-law looked at her and said, "Are you sure? You sure you want to take him?" Because he looked like this big vicious dog up on this kennel.
yeah.
She called me, and I'm like, "Oh, please, take him."
All right. Now, I do have a question that I want to bring up during this particular show. Why did we take rescue dogs?
Mhm.
From the time you started until the time you got him out, how much money was involved in that?
As far as what?
Money. I'm bringing this banner up is why. Without donations, we couldn't. You probably couldn't have gotten him out, right?
No. So it does take. There's so much involved in just one dog, Steve. I mean, it's transport, it's vaccines, it's
Right.
if
That's what I meant.
behaviorist. Yes, absolutely. He was tick-borne positive. He had no vaccines. He just needed so much. He was on doxycycline. Everybody knows how much that cost.
Yeah.
And just food alone is costly, not to mention everything else.
He's a big boy. He doesn't eat a quarter of a cup.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of funding involved when it comes to the dogs. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So Sonny's another success story of why we take reactive dogs. Is that correct?
Yes.
And,
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I mean, just look at them. That's enough right there.
That dog looks content.
Yes.
He
Sonny,
is a happy boy.
Sonny's
Yeah.
a celebrity.
Yeah.
He's found his
Yeah.
forever home, and he knows he's safe here. Nobody's going to hurt him, and
Mhm.
he's just
And he's going to make sure the same. He's going to make sure the same about you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
You're loyal.
wow. So, needless to say, Sonny's not up for adoption. Um, you can go to www.findanother.dog.com, or you can go to gprescue.com and look at ours. Okay.
When Shari asked me if she could adopt him, I told her, I said, I need a minute, because I was literally sobbing.
Yeah.
Because I was just so happy for Sonny. I say that, all my dogs are so important to me, and I love them all so much, but Sonny has a very, very special place right here in my heart. I fought very hard to keep him here, and
Yeah.
not let anybody take him from us.
I
So,
was going to say that. I mean, I see you get very emotional over every dog that we've talked about. So
yeah,
that's why, right there is another reason why we don't say no to reactive dogs.
yeah, that's right.
Because we do have experience in this,
Mhm.
and chances are pretty good they don't.
Mhm.
And just because you've had a peer for 2 weeks in your shelter doesn't make you an expert.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
and me and Linda, we're still both learning the breed too. And I've been around them for 31 years, and Linda's been around them probably all your life now, huh?
Mhm.
So, and you know what? You never meet one that's just like another one.
Mhm.
That's what makes this breed special. So, thank you guys for coming on, and
Thank you.
um, and we will definitely like to have you on again one of these days, and you can show us another happy story.
Jeff, give him a hug for me.
Yeah, we can turn it into a happy adoption story instead of this storyline. All right, everybody. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Sherry, and we will
Jeff,
see
thanks,
you
Shari.
again, hopefully. Ain't that something? Boy, I'll tell you. Hi, Roman. Um, that was a pre-recorded segment, and obviously, and we're back. And whoops, sorry, Glenn. um, so, man, Roman, wasn't that something, Roman?
I remember our first phone call we had with Linda when she called me. I have a dog in the shelter. They want to put him down. And I was like, what happened? And she told me the story, and I was like, wow. And here you
That
go, you know.
so
And I think, it takes a village to help a dog. But every village has a mayor, Linda, right?
yes,
Somebody who organizes that village and appreciate what you do.
yeah. Let me address a couple of the comments here. All right. First of all, Nancy loves the St. Louis Arch. Okay. We're not on location. Um, let's see. Melissa Sherman thinks that they need to adopt Sonny. Can you address that, Linda? Whoops. Okay.
Done. They did adopt Sonny. He has his forever home with his foster parents, Shari and Jeff. He's a happy guy.
Yeah. And Nancy was curious on how old he is.
He's a little over 3 years old.
Okay, good.
That we're aware of. When
Yeah.
they come from the situations, we have a guesstimate.
Right.
I do want to say, Steve, that the ladies in Pocahontas, Arkansas, I have to give them a big shout out because they work so hard with almost no help, no funding. And they do a lot of times reach out to rescues when they get Pyrenees in. And there were certain ladies that really helped Sonny along. So thank you, Arkansas. You guys do great, and we definitely appreciate them.
Okay. That is, and they realize that they don't want to be the final answer of the dog's fate.
That's right.
Okay.
Mhm.
And see, there's another thing that a lot of people I hear all the time. That dog's aggressive. Um, well, I know aggressive's a word, but sometimes it can be misunderstood. The great dogs are not aggressive.
Right.
They don't. The definition of aggressive is you do something with no motive, no reason. Okay,
Mhm.
humans do that. Dogs aren't wired that way. They have to have a reason.
Yes,
Okay, they don't do it for no reason,
that's right.
and so that means they're not aggressive. They're reactive. Okay, that means if your dog bites you, the first thing you're going to want to look at, wow, what did I do to make my dog think that the only option he had was to bite his way through me? Okay, so and I don't want to blame everything on the person. Okay, but always look for why. Okay, why is very, very important. When your children act up, why are they acting up? Well, there's a possibility you didn't give them the not proper knowledge through guidance to for them to make the right decision. Okay, so and that's the same thing we do with dogs. We give them knowledge through guidance, right?
Yes.
And they want to learn. So now we have. Do you have anything to add to that, Roman? Quickly, while we move to our next
Well, I
story.
if you ask 100 behaviorists and 100 veterinarians and 100 scientists what aggression is, you will never hear the same sentence. I believe aggression is something that is very natural. Everybody, all the vertebrae have aggression as a tool to survive, and it comes in different forms. The most evolved type of aggression is playing. At the same time, playing is a playground to learn about aggression. While aggression is built in automatically, through play, we learn how to apply aggression in different versions. If we see it in human aspect, I'm aggressively driving through the parking lot to find a parking that fits my best, not too far away from the car, not too far away from the shopping center, right? So my idea of looking for something that is free for me to take is already aggressive behavior. Now, how I work with that, my morals and ethics around that, would I drive over a person to get to my parking spot? Will I hit somebody to get there? This is kind of like how I handle my aggression. And being a complex trauma victim, I was aggressive, but now I learned to change the way I see aggression and the way I react to aggression in a more healthier way for my environment. So if we see a dog with aggression, they're baiting two reasons. A, because of physical pain, and B, because of emotional pain. Which means if a dog is hungry, he is in pain and he needs to stop that. Therefore, he acts aggressively towards his environment to get something to eat. Well, he would kill to eat, but what if what he has available would be his partner? Well, then he considered redirect thing and says, I would rather starve than killing my partner. But that's an evolution. So a dog who chooses certain behaviors and looks for us as victims as aggressive, in reality is just a survival way of handling things. And we need to teach those dogs who have a first response to bite that there's another option available to get you food. There's another option available to deal with your fear. There's another option available. How about building up trust? How about building a secure attachment? How about learning other options available? Instead of going towards, you can actually walk away from it. No problem. It helps you survive even better. And so our goal as behaviorists is to understand that part, but unfortunately we don't have everybody on the same page. The veterinarian
Right.
sees growling as an aggression, and therefore the dog is doomed aggressive for growling. All the dog did is complaining that something happened to his body out of his concern, right? And then some behavior veterinarians will actually prescribe the dog medication to shut up because growling is inappropriate for civil for human environment. AKC, Caring Good Citizens, ignores the dog's emotions and actually forces the dog to swallow his emotions and not react to his environment like it would be a puppet. So we see there are some different things there. Pyrenees will not be able to pass easily a Canine Good Citizens test because they complain about the dog barking. Well, barking is a breed trait. What makes it wrong to bark if something is triggered? Right? Yeah, some dogs would not even pass that test because they bark in certain events. Even that will be a service dog because he barks because his partner needs help. So it's kind of like weird, right?
Yeah. So, all right. Now, our next dog. Okay. Some of you know about him. I didn't. He was well tucked away, nice and safely, learning things, getting knowledge. Okay. So I'm going to play his video. Then our own Glenn has this dog, and Glenn's here. You saw a brief flash of him for a second because I screwed up. All right. So, but that's what bloopers are all about. We're live. All right. So now this one here, this is the one I wrote in the comments that will let you form your own opinion on this dog. So the video explains what we knew about him. And then, well, here we go. Wow. Hi, Glenn. That was pretty harsh, wasn't it? Pretty harsh of a video there. And for some reason, you're muted and you got turned sideways. I don't know what just happened here. Everybody, turn your head like this. And I'm going to take him down for a second and then I'll bring him back. All right. And there you are. Okay. So I don't know what just took place there. I can't even unmute him. What I'll do is, Glenn, sign out and come on back in again if you can. And we're going to talk about this, okay? So that was a pretty harsh video now, wasn't it? That was a situation where, well, it explained it pretty well, all right? And now this is an area where we want to look at environment. Is there something going on in the environment, or was it just because this was a foster that our story is he'd love this woman to death. Okay, and the mother that didn't live there, but she was there like every day or so. I mean often, but yet something triggered him. Okay. Now we're not going to know the trigger because we don't know the rest of that.
Right.
Okay. But now, like we said, we're going to let you form your own opinion, and Glenn will be back in a second here. And because what we witnessed before the show was not what we read on the video. Okay. This dog, as soon as Glenn gets back in here, his name is Cody, and he's about 3 years old. Although he's got his fur changing color, you know how if you get a fat badger face puppy and then the next thing you know 2 years later, what happened to your badger face? It fades, and usually they, in my experience, they usually do that in the younger years. And we think he's 3, but his coat is changing just a little bit. We saw that when Glenn was brushing him before the show.
It's just a
And I'll tell you what. What's that?
It's just a guesstimate.
Yeah,
If
right,
we don't know the actual birth date, we just guess.
right. But we're still going to go with 3 because it could still happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
But
He's
this
young.
dog, what we witnessed just now, and I hope you can get back on. I hope his phone didn't die. That's what I think could have happened. Yeah.
Mm.
But because he was out in the middle of nowhere with no way to charge it. But that's okay. Worst case, we'll come back to Cody. But what we witnessed, he had a slicker brush. It was a cool one too because you push a button, it pushes the fur out of it, and brushing him on his hind end, his tail, his tummy, his head, under his chin, and the dog reacted viciously by kind of dozing off a little bit in pure satisfaction. Now, this dog is probably, and Roman, he didn't see this, he was on his other show, but I would have, had Roman been there, I would have asked Roman his opinion if that could have been what we thrive for in a secure attachment. Okay. And and not everybody can have a secure attachment because it's something we always want, and the pieces have to fall into place, and it has to happen, and it's reciprocating. It's 2 ways, all right. And but it looked pretty close to me, but Roman was on another show, so he's a busy guy. So we're going to bring our next boy up, okay. And now I know you guys remember him. In fact, we had a video that we had done with him that I think we'll play first, and then we will bring him up. And I know everybody remembers Hanlon. All right. Once again, if Linda didn't take him, that was his last chance, right, Linda?
Yes.
And so it wasn't going to be a good outcome. So let me play his video, and I'll bring Hanlon up while it's playing. And this one isn't as long as the other 2. So. Hi, Hanlon. Hi, Sarah.
Hi guys.
So, Mr. Hanlon there, he was in a interesting situation before he came into rescue. He was at a shelter, and matter of fact, um, uh, we were going to do an assessment, and we couldn't get hooked up, so they sent me a whole bunch of videos. Which, believe it or not, that's how I put that video together. This was at the shelter, is what you saw there, and and um, and now this is him now. So now this is once again a reactive dog. All right, and he has a couple bites. Okay, and 2 of them were. I mean, the 2 bites were similar to each other. One was a child. One was an adult, and they both had the same common denominator. And so, how is he now, Sarah?
Clearly he's very reactive.
Yeah, I know. And
he's been super good. We have been able to go out more now. He has been socialized super well recently. I had people over the other night, and he was very good with them. He would come up and say hello, and then when he had enough, he would come and lay and just do his thing. And he has been super good recently.
good. By the way, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay. They had she had a party, last night, a gathering?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's the thing about this gathering. It was themed for the 80s.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of Sarah, and I did not recognize her. Okay, and this is how I think. What, everybody was dressed that way?
I was dressed as Freddie Mercury.
Okay, but how
So
many folks were there?
probably about 10.
10
And
people with a once again a reactive dog. How did he do?
wonderfully. He usually doesn't do super well with men, and he was making friends with the men that I had there. He would say hello and he let everybody pet him, and he would actually come back because he wanted more attention.
And
So
so I wonder what the difference is now. Okay, why is he not reacting with all of these people? Okay,
we have worked incredibly hard to get him to this point. He is secure where he is, and he realizes that he doesn't have to worry anymore.
Because he has you to protect him.
Yes, we've worked really hard, and he's done wonderfully.
Yeah. Okay, you say you work hard, but it's not that hard giving him knowledge through guidance, now is it?
He is the most intelligent dog that I have ever worked with, so he makes it pretty easy.
There you go. And why is that? Because he's a Great Pyrenees. So we've given you now, we've shown you now, well, 2.5 dogs, and we're going to get back to Glenn now real quick. And before his, in case his phone is, Glenn doesn't have a way to keep his phone charged. He's out there in his, well, whatever you want to call it, big backyard. We'll go that way. So we'll come back to you unless you have to leave, Sarah. That's up to you.
I do. My family's here.
Oh, that's right. You have more guests. You have your family there, and he looks very relaxed to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
So there's our reactive dog. Okay. And so we're going to talk about that more. Thank you, Sarah. So if you have to go, you go. Bye. Bye, Hanlon. And I'm glad everybody got to see you again. So
there he is.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing his story with us. All right. Bye now.
Thanks, guys.
All right. We have Glenn back with Cody. Did your phone die, Glenn?
Well, sort of. One of the dogs inside the house knocked my cable loose.
Ah, okay. So now let's go back to Cody. We've played the video, and that's a pretty harsh story, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
All right.
It was pretty hard.
And now we're seeing a dog that, well, he was going to die.
Yes, they were going to put him down.
And because he was reactive, Linda took him.
Yes, she did.
And so, see, there seems to be a common denominator here that just because he's reactive, it doesn't make him dangerous, because reactions can be in other ways too. Just like at the end of the video, he tells you in the video that if you love me, I will react with love times 10. But if you abuse me, I may react and defend myself times 10 too. Okay. So I have a funny feeling that Glenn has never felt threatened by him. So, and have you ever felt threatened by Cody?
Not since day one that I've had him.
And he had a pretty interesting. Let's see here. You had sent me a picture of his. He had an infection, didn't he?
Yes, he did. When he came to me, when I picked him up, I started checking around his neck as I was scratching him just like this. And I came back and my hand was just green with pus. And I found out that he had 5 puncture marks on his neck. Took him to the vet. We had to take him, clean it up. He was infected. It was from the other dog in the household.
Right. So he got beat up by the other dog in the household, which is why he was surrendered initially. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
So he wasn't initially surrendered because he is a reactive dog. He was surrendered initially because the other dog didn't get along with him.
Yes, that's
Okay. So, well, I'll tell you though. So then you take him to the vet, and he seems to be doing well at the vet now. All right.
Yep.
And he didn't react to the vet. And now keep in mind, he hasn't had any issues other than a dog fight that we know of up until this point. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So then he leaves Glenn. I guess this was this is what confused me even. Then he goes to Minnesota to a foster, which wasn't Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri, and I think what you just helped pull him. Is that what happened?
Yes, I went on Linda's request. I went to do the initial pickup, and then when we discovered that he was injured, he stayed with me on the farm until he got over the injuries. But
Okay.
he's going to another rescue.
And when you first met him, how did he do with you, even with his injuries?
Took about 5 minutes, and I moved right in with the cage, and he was pretty much like he is right now with me.
Huh. Interesting. So then he goes to the other rescues foster, and he has an incident on a couch, and we don't know anything beyond that. Okay, so we can't speculate other than the fact that he reacted to something. There was a trigger. Okay, and just like he said in the video, if you love me, I will react with love times 10. But if you abuse me, but it's not just black and white like that. Okay, there's so many different variables that can happen. All right, and it's called meeting the dog's needs. Okay, so the environment may have been friendly, but if they weren't meeting the needs to him, now that changes the environment. Okay, is that right, Roman? Okay, and
This is exactly right. People misinterpret the needs.
Yeah.
They let the dog on the couch. The dog feels the need to stay on the couch because it's comfortable, because it feels safe. And then people want the dog to get off the couch, which the dog then doesn't have a place to go. And he says, I don't like to go out away from the couch. I feel just fine here. And then people sometimes get a little bit more reactive, a little bit more aggressive about it, and try to grab the dog by the collar and pull him off the couch, and then kaboom, things happen pretty quickly.
And this dog had injury on his neck. And I'll tell you what, a Pyrenees in pain, they can become grumpy. Probably with any breed too, right, Roman?
Yeah, pretty much.
But an
Other than
earache,
hot dog don't pain.
Okay, all right. I always relate it to pugs. All right, but anyway, so when you met him, he was already had the injury, probably, right, Glenn?
Yes, he did.
And it's still, you know how to approach, obviously, and he still didn't react to that. And isn't that something? So now we look
He
at
was
the environment,
perfectly fine with me scratching his whole neck, even though it was injured. He was comfortable with me doing it.
which is how you found the injury.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yet he was going to die over all this. But yet he showed Glenn and Reagan and Linda that even in pain, he wasn't doing any of this. So, now in the training world, that brings up a big red flag on a dog having to die over it. Okay. And it does with Linda too, thank goodness, because Cody would not be here if she didn't say, go get that dog. So, and he was in Minnesota, if I remember right, or somewhere up north up there. So that was a heck of a trek, wasn't it, Glenn? There was a picture, and I didn't upload it, but I am, and I wanted to ask you about it. Okay, Glenn?
Sure.
Because I love this picture. Now, this is at your place, and don't dogs usually go in their doghouse?
Cody has a ritual. He does go in his doghouse when he decides to. He likes to be on top of it so he can survey the property.
Mm-hmm.
But his ritual is whenever I show up, he jumps up onto the doghouse when I come in to feed or I come in to walk. And the first thing I have to do is lean up to him so he can give me a hug. And he'll put both paws up on my shoulder and draw me in for a hug and just nuzzle with me. And until he gets that, he will not get down to eat. He will not get down to walk. And then when I bring him back from his walks, he wants to hop up and get one more hug before I leave.
Okay. Cool. And plus his elevation, he's a better guardian line of sight. And then probably what I'd like to address now, it was in the video, and here's a closer picture of it. What is in his mouth, and is he walking with that?
This is what's in his mouth.
A lamb.
His baby lamb. When he came to me, he was looking for something to do, and I was going around, and he chose this toy. And for the first few months, this toy never left him. Whenever we'd go out for a walk, even if we were out for 5-6 miles, he would carry that everywhere. He'd set it down if he had to do his business, but the only time he would leave it was if he would hand it to me, put it in my pocket. And then he'd keep coming up and checking on it every so often, make sure it was good. And it gave him something to watch over and do.
Now, Roman actually covered dogs one time that carry their stuffed animals around. Is that right, Roman? We're starting to run a little short on time. We got a couple more things to do, but sorry.
I see many people misinterpret some type of resource guarding. And if a dog has a toy or an item that is his comfort, and he doesn't want to leave that go, then people get violent about it, try to take that away because the dog shouldn't have that for some reason. And then somebody tells them if a dog has resource guarding because he's stressed, whatever, then we should take everything away that a dog possesses. So he doesn't possess anything. But what if that is his emotional support toy that he keeps himself comfort? All you do is you aggravate the behavior because the dog doesn't have anything to comfort himself. And then obviously he starts biting and chewing on stuff. So it's very clear we should always pay attention to that as behaviorists, that some dogs need comfort toys. For that reason, it's not for us to judge. However, I'm very glad that Glenn picked that up. I remember I had a case in California with a cane corso who went after everyone who came into this house until we discovered that he has a comfort toy. And what we teach the dog to do is to bring the comfort toy to other people's to comfort that made him stressed, and then get this comfort toy back to comfort himself in return, and then he walked away with it, no problem. Then it was a solution of it. So implementing that comfort toy exchange, I comfort myself by comforting you, and now I want my comfort back so I can comfort myself, kind of ritual, is a very good thing to bring in when dogs meet new people.
Yep.
And if I can add one thing to that, I said he never leaves it behind. There was one particular walk we were on. I all of a sudden turned and there was no lamb. He had set it down and then he had walked off and forgot it. And so I thought we were going to have to go back and find it. And as we turned around, my German Shepherd came trotting across the field because he had found where Cody had left his lamb. He picked it up, he brought it to Cody. He set it at Cody's feet. Cody looked at him, gave the German Shepherd a lick, picked up the lamb, and everything was fine.
That's communication.
Capture that. A dog who has no clue who belongs to that sheep finds the dog who belongs to that sheep, brings him to him knowing what it is for, like he could taste it, drops it off, and the other dog appreciates that gesture and licks the other dog instead of being resource guarding about it. How much intelligence or emotional intelligence do you need to do that?
Yeah.
Me personally, I find something on the floor that's not a wallet and not money, and I look around, nobody belongs to it. I'm not looking around to see who belongs it. I'll take it. Sorry.
Dogs don't do that. At least these dogs didn't.
Yeah.
That's
so it's
amazing.
Very interesting, and we have to be very careful. If we have multiple dogs in the household, and there are multiple dogs who need comfort, if they share the same comfort, it can be a trigger. And we don't see it coming, and all of a sudden we have a dispute. Or some dogs don't see appropriate for another dog to have that comfort because they are very controlling. So if they have an insecure attachment relationship, and they're not handling their situations well, the dog can get upset that this dog can have that comfort and he cannot have that, and make a whole dispute about it. And we start blaming the wrong dog and actually rehome the whole dog because the other dog just wanted something the other dog cannot have. Like, how weird is that?
Yes, that is correct. And then when the dog is comfortable enough, he will put the lamb down. Okay, he makes the decision. So, and now, actually, Linda has a question here for Linda, and they want to know if you place a reactive dog with a foster, like Hanlon. She used Hanlon as an example, so we will focus on that. And he's in a good place, like an only home or like an only dog, limited number of people, etc. And he forms the secure attachment and does well with training, socialization, etc. What are the chances he will completely regress when he's placed with an adopter? I think I can help with that answer, and so can Roman. We are
Go ahead.
raising the bar, raising his expectation level. Am I getting close, Roman?
Well, the function of a healthy, secure attachment relationship is for the dog to not be dependent on the person.
Right.
Which means if the dog is being rehomed, he learned so far to build a new attachment relationship with the other
Raising
person.
the bar.
Right? So, yeah, it's possible. It should be. And that's why I suggest sometimes to a dog not being too long in one foster care, the dog can be to another foster home in exchange for us to test the system and see what dogs needs to be addressed. It's not the dog losing his house, right? Because he knows that he's being taken care of.
Yeah.
Now,
Early on, I'm sorry, Roman. Early on, I talked to Roman about something. All right, because the question was brought up, and it, good question. What happens if the dog bonds with the foster too much? And this is similar to this. And aren't we setting the dog up to fail? So me and Roman talked about that, and basically Roman, well, the answer he gave me is, well, you pay attention. Okay, he's not going to give me an answer because I have to pay attention. All right, because we're both do the same thing. So, and I like the way Roman does that. He makes me figure it out for myself. He makes me stimulate my brain. Okay, so what I have seen over the years is no, we are not setting him up to fail. All right. Time is what possibly could hinder any kind of a situation if they're there too long. Okay. Am I on the right track, Roman? Okay. So now in the real world on paper, we'd like to see them in a facility like Glenn for 2 weeks, move them to a foster for 30 days to be adopted. Now let's come back to reality. Okay. So many things can affect an adoption. And for one is the breed, for one. Not everybody, this breed isn't for everybody. And just like Hanlon told just like what Hanlon said, his dad said, he's just misunderstood. Okay. So, and it doesn't have to be of Great Pyrenees to be misunderstood. You can misunderstand a pug. Okay. Because if you want the pug to do a job, you just misunderstood that pug. Right. So, so no, we want the dog to know what to expect, and in some cases the dog actually helps the new home because the dog can give the new home knowledge also. Plus, the foster has the tools to pass on to the new home with what works for them. What works for them. Just because a dog gets along with Glenn doesn't mean he's going to get along with the adopter's dad. Okay. They have to earn that in so many words. So, all right, we're starting to run out of time here because I was blabbering here. All right, wow. I hope we answered your question, Judy. That was Judy. All right, and Roman, if I didn't answer her question, can she maybe message you or something with that same question? Okay, good. You heard me, Judy. So now, speaking of Judy, well, look at this. Look at this dangerous dog. I don't know what to say. Just like I said, you folks can form your own opinion. And um, I know I have mine. I'd like to have that dog. All right. Charlie, can I have no dog? Oop, Charlie's
I
not
want
my
to
wife.
clarify something.
Sure.
Every door has the potential to climb your finger and hurt yourself. And every carnivore has the potential to bite. Just because the dog has the potential doesn't mean he is aggressive.
Right.
And every time because the dog doesn't show any potential doesn't mean he doesn't have it. So it's very important that we understand the breed traits, the breed needs, understand our environment and our needs. And sometimes our needs for a dog to comply to something he's not capable of complying puts the dog in a situation to feel insecure, unsafe, and not cared for, which puts the dog in survival mode, which puts the dog into that potential.
Yes. Yep. So basically, it just took us an hour to answer a simple question: why do you take reactive dogs? And because they don't, just like Roman just said, just because the potential's there, doesn't mean they have to use it. When I walk my dog and somebody comes up and I tell them don't approach my dog, why? Does he bite? Well, I don't know. Let me take a look, and yep, he's got teeth and he's a dog. Okay, so approach, means a lot. We're not going to go into a training session, all right? But know your dog, know your breed, okay?
Isn't that not the job of a rescue, to help a shelter with
Yes.
minimizing the risks? Isn't it the shelter and its term as a shelter something to feel safe, comfortable, and not being in fear of being killed?
Yeah.
I think a shelter should never take that choice to kill a dog until for medical reason that is part of dignity. Like the dog doesn't have any kidneys anymore, he cannot live, he doesn't have any blood anymore, right? But in the meantime, it's the rescue who need to have the support of his foster system and of his education to take that dog that needs further help other than assessing the situation and giving the first help needed for the dog to survive, right? Without making judgment of the dog is or is not. It's like me going to the hospital because I scream and yell and punch everybody around me because I'm in pain, and then I've been put to sleep right there on the spot because I'm aggressive towards the doctor.
Right.
Why I'm in the hospital in the first place again?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so a shelter is just a place for the dog to come in, to become an intake, find the owner, find the situation, what's going on, offer first help until the rescue steps in and pull that dog, and then help the dog go back to a future home that gets to go. Because that our system fails doesn't mean the dog has to pay for it.
That's right. Okay. All right. Moving on. And I think we're going to let, instead of moving Cody around, we'll let him stay right there. And we got our one last thing here. Speaking of peerrescue.org in Colorado, okay, I see a lot of times when we see a dog in need, and they look in horrible condition, we'll see a lot of people post, "Oh, that dog needs a little bit of love." Okay, well, that part's a different story. Make no mistake, rescues have plenty of love. Okay, but see, what that takes more than love sometimes. So the rescues have to do fundraisers. Okay. Everybody bought your T-shirts that knew about that. Well, the Colorado Rescue, peerrescue.org, they are also doing a fundraiser now with the T-shirts. Okay, and they have a nice design, and I'll bring some pictures of those up in just a second here. Where you go to uh, click the link, and I'm hoping that Judy will put the link to Custom Ink in the comments, and because I will here, I don't have that link because I didn't grab it because it's about 2.5 miles long. But you go out to the Facebook Peer Rescue. Well, if you're watching the show at Peer Rescue's Facebook page, this is where the link is, right where you're watching, just about. And so they got some pretty nice looking shirts also, and they got a nice little design there. Okay, now they've extended it. This campaign, this fundraiser, it ends on the 27th, so you might want to hurry. All right, they got these colors, and That's actually a different type of neck there, isn't it? What do they call that, Linda? V-neck?
That's a V-neck.
Okay. All right. So they've got a few colors here you can pick from. They got tank top. Okay. I kind of like the silhouette of the dog with the Colorado mountains in the background. And
It's a nice design, Judy. Really
it
nice.
is a nice design, yes. So pure, you go out to Facebook, facebook.com, purerescue.org/. And if you're watching the show from Judy's page, just scroll. They're going to pin it, so it'll be first thing you see when you go out to their page. So, like I said, rescue's got plenty of love, but it also takes money too. Boy, do we know that, don't we, Linda?
Yeah.
So, everybody, thank you for watching. And that was not an easy answer, because if Linda would post an answer on the page, all that's going to do is raise 100 questions. Okay. So the short answer is, why do you take reactive dogs? Why not? Because
Why not?
right there's why we take reactive dogs. Um, Handling is why we take reactive dogs. Sunny is why we take reactive dogs, because it's just not what you think. Okay. It just isn't. He was supposed to have been an only dog, wasn't he, Linda?
Yes.
And somebody made a mistake. Okay.
Yes.
Or maybe they put him with the wrong dog. Maybe it wasn't him at all that started anything. Okay. And that was where Linda took him from, right there. That's where he was. And she had to, they were bound and determined to put him down and label him dangerous, because one person blamed the dog for everything. All right. Don't blame the dog. You always look for what caused this. All right. So I guess that's why we take reactive dogs, isn't it?
Why not?
Why not? So Nancy's posted the link on her page, and when we sign off, I will repost it on the Missouri page. Okay, for lack of a better, Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri. It's all about the dogs. I'll post it on that page. Right. So, and we support other rescues, obviously. So,
Absolutely.
and other rescues support us. So, we're all doing the same thing. We're trying to save this breed. So,
We're all one big family.
yes,
With one goal.
that's right. That's one goal. So,
Yes.
and Roman, he also tries to save this breed. One of these days, I'll give a brief background what you did with your house in Phoenix, Roman.
In Phoenix? No, Eugene.
No, you had a house in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
That story. So one day, all right. So, all right, everybody. Next week,
Join everyone.
what are we going to do next week, Linda? Do you have are you starting working on a plan yet?
Yeah, I'm starting to work on it.
Okay.
Details later on.
She will give you little teasers throughout the week. Maybe we can ask for some breadcrumbs for us. All right.
Yes.
How do we
All
get
right,
a t-shirt?
everybody. I hope you like the new tune in our exit, because I played it last week and nobody commented on it. So, bye, everybody. Bye, Roman.
Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
coming
Thanks for
on.
joining.
Thank you for bringing Cody on, Glenn. I hope you can wake him up to take him back in, because I know it's hot out there.
Oh, he's doing this fine.
And
As soon as I move my leg, he'll be up to go.
there's a classic example of why Linda takes reactive dogs right there. So, see you next week. Same time. Bye.
Bye, all.